How's it going, everyone? Today I want to talk about how to learn how to dribble. Nothing fancy, just dribbling on the ground, whether or not it bounces on the ground or you keep it on your hood, what to do with it, kind of, flipping and flicks and going in the air afterwards, just kind of transitioning to and from dribbling and kind of how to learn how to dribble a little bit better. And if you're a decent dribbler, you still might get something out of this. So what I'm going to do is while we're in free play here, I just want to give a few basic tips on how to learn how to start dribbling. And then we're going to go into Dribble Challenge 2 Overhaul. It's a custom map that you can play if you're on Steam or Epic Games, really just PC. You just can't play it on any of the consoles, unfortunately, but you can still learn how to dribble, in free play. If you're on console, it's not the end of the world. It's just maybe not as fun, might get a little bit boring at times. And yeah, I do want to mention that I am still in the Zen controls, so you can see that I'm using my trigger to air roll. And the biggest issue that I've had with that is actually has nothing to do with aerialing, has everything to do with flipping and jumping off the ground, because it is my drive forward button. So, if I'm driving forward, doing anything at all, and I jump, I immediately am air rolling. So I had to retrain my brain to completely let go of my air roll, aka drive forward trigger, every time I jump. And the big thing is whenever I flip, if I'm in a contingency scenario and I really have to flip to save the ball or something, it's hard to do, front flips and side and back flips whenever I'm holding my trigger, and I'm always going to side flip if I do hold my trigger, right? So if I want to front flip, I can do that, but I have to let go of the trigger. So in contingent scenarios, I may forget to let go of that trigger, and it messes me up quite a bit. So that's kind of the big thing that we're still working on with the Zen controls. But other than that, I think it's gone pretty well. I think I can do just about everything I could do beforehand, at least in the air and my normal ground stuff. It's just occasionally I'll mess it up and I won't let go of my trigger whenever I need to. But that's besides the point. Let's get into the dribble training tips, tricks, and all that good stuff video. So yeah, just to start off as a basic tutorial for about 2 minutes here, I'm just going to stay in free play here for a couple minutes to give you basics before I do hop into Dribble Challenge 2. And one of the big advantages of learning how to dribble isn't even necessarily dribbling, because you don't have to dribble a lot in the game if you want to do well, but you do learn and really hone in on your ball control, touching the ball however hard you want to touch it at the angle you want, using your power slide effectively. All those good things come from learning how to dribble, and you're going to work on all of that without even realizing it. It really is just as simple as getting into free play and just trying to keep the ball up in the air. I think first you probably want to go ahead and learn how to keep it on your hood. Bouncing it on the ground it can be easier, it can be harder for some people. I would personally say if you're learning how to dribble from the get-go, just try and keep it on your hood. And I know that's going to be really hard at first, but I'll give you a couple pointers here real quick to get you going before anything else too complicated. So first, getting it on your hood. That's going to be our step one, right? And a lot of times the ball is just going to be rolling somewhere. It's really hard to get the ball in your hood if the ball is rolling with you. See, as I'm driving towards the ball, it's rolling away from me. It's hard to get the ball in your hood like this because you have to really go fast. You run out of room. It's really not that easy. So what you're going to want to do is the easiest way is to get on the other side of it and just pop it up and just kind of let your car drive into it and then get underneath the ball. It's that easy. But that also may not be the easiest thing to do if the ball's rolling quickly, or maybe you don't want to go all the way around it because, maybe I'm trying to score in this orange goal. So the trick is you just want to get next to it and slide into it. And you can see I didn't even bounce the ball up that much. You can just be next to the ball and just turn into it. I don't even have to use power slide. I don't have to use boost. You're just turning into it. And it's going to be really hard to, it might look easier than it is because I've done this so many times, right? So if you're new to this, don't get discouraged if it's just not coming super quick to you, because all of these little touches I'm doing, every single one I'm doing, it's not going to be easy the first time you're trying. They all take a lot of muscle memory, and a lot of people that make tutorials like these, they don't really get into that. They don't really talk about how difficult it can be to just start a dribble, because they're like, oh yeah, just hit it. Okay, now it's on your hood. Yeah, just do that. They forget what it felt like whenever you were new to the game. And so I'm going to try and tell you that, don't feel bad if it does take a while just to get these little bounces, you know, these little touches that get the ball up enough for you to actually get underneath it. Those do take some time, so just drive around and practice it. You know, just let the ball roll, bounce, turn away, bounce, you know, just kind of like drive into it. And then eventually you'll be able to do this no problem, right? Like for me, I could probably hold this on my hood forever until you know, I got too bored or cramped up, but I probably have the skills to where I would never have to drop the ball, just like a normal dribbling scenario. But yeah, I think that's all I really have for just the basics. It's not a lot, you know, you just want to dribble into it. You want to hit it into the side. You're going to want to keep an eye on the white circle that's on the ground, the ball indicator. It is going to tell you where your car is relative to the ball, because it can be hard with the depth perception to tell exactly how far underneath it is. And actually what you're going to end up doing eventually is you're going to look at the spin of the ball. Like if I just stare at the spin of the ball while it's on my hood, I can kind of get an idea of where it's going to go. Now, sometimes it can be hard to learn in the beginning, and if it just stays spinning the same direction, then that means it's, you know, it's going to keep going the same direction while it's on you. But that's just more of an intuition thing. I'm not really going to be able to tell you, you know, which direction it's spinning and which way you should go. It's all muscle memory and like how your mind sees it, right? Everyone's going to learn a little bit differently. Some people are going to use the spin of the ball. Some people are going to use the ball cam indicator on the bottom. Some people are just going to have really good depth perception and know based on how big the ball is in their face where it is on your car. And that's just going to be different for everyone. So let's go ahead and get into our Dribble 2 overhaul, and we'll go ahead and play through all of those levels and give you an idea of how I do all of those levels. If you're gonna follow along and train yourself, I'm not sure if it's the best way to do them, but it's just the way I like to do it for my warm-ups and my little training sessions. So yeah, let's just hop in. All right, this guy right here, you're gonna look for that thumbnail. That's the one you want, and you definitely want the overhaul because it gives you these options to, you know, keep track of how many times you fail, and the timer up there. You can also do like dark mode and stuff and nighttime, or like, you know, just using headlights, which I don't really mess with, but that could be fun. And you're probably also going to need to get, if you don't already have like custom maps downloaded and this is your first time on Steam or on Epic Games, you might have to download like extra texture pack, and you can just Google like workshop textures Rocket League and you'll probably find it somewhere and figure out how to do it. It's pretty simple. So if your game doesn't look like this on this map, then yeah, you'll definitely have to do that. So anyways, let's just go and get started. You just pop this up, and the first level is pretty easy. The hardest part about the first level is, and the second level, is just not letting the ball get too far ahead of you, because eventually you just can't catch up with it, right? So if you stay with your back wheels behind the white circle, you keep pushing the ball forward, right? I'm using an Octane hitbox, but it is the same for pretty much any you know, hitbox, right? So like, I can't make it all the way there if my back wheels stay behind that white line, right? But if I keep my back wheels ahead of the white line, once I get a decent speed, even if I'm like way out in front of it, it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. The hard part is, once you can get your wheels up far enough, this is kind of what, if you looked up the term inverted pendulum, it kind of is that in a dynamic sense, because it is an unstable, it's an unstable dynamic situation, I guess I'll call it. And you have to like lead which way you want to carry the ball around, and it's definitely not as intuitive as you think, and that's the problem, because I'm slowing down, I'm letting go of my drive button, I'm not even boosting that much, or right now not at all, and I can, you know, at this point I can jump up and catch it. But all this is going to come with just practice. I'm going to hope that I can get you up to a point to where your first couple hours of practice are going to actually be very useful, because a lot of times you can practice for a long time, and if you don't have guidance, you can be practicing just a very inefficient way, you know, practicing it and not a way that's going to help as much as you'd like. This level is going to be a little bit tricky because you have to really slow the ball down, at least the way I do it, right? All of these are in reference to how I do these levels. So if I say you have to do something, just know that I mean it's because it's how I do it, not because it's the only way to do it. And it is probably useful to do this multiple ways if you can as you're practicing and training, because you're going to get a lot more out of it. Like this one, I just caught the ball low, but you know, there's also the way that you could air dribble this if you wanted to jump up and flick it high and then come up and air dribble it. Any other way you want to do it. I think it's useful to know how to do all of this stuff. So definitely like give all of them a shot. Try to finish each of these levels at varying different difficulties of ball control. This one's kind of the easiest that I just showed. And yeah, once you do get it on your hood and it's just a straight line, just remember, keep your wheels like in the middle. Like I do slow down some whenever they're all the way up there, but it's not the end of the world. You want to keep the ball slow. If it gets too fast, especially while you're learning, you just can't catch up with it. And that's the biggest thing. Like right here, it's going to be really hard. I have to full boost that whole time just to get it all the way across the line. So something you want to keep in mind is be farther ahead of the ball than you think you need to be. I think that's something that it took me a long time to realize. That little catch is, can I go? I can't reset and go back, but that first little pop up and catch on that last level did take me a good amount of time to figure out how to catch it. So once again, you'll just have to, you can rewatch it and see how I did it if you want, or you can just keep practicing. Whatever you want to do. It's really helpful to do it multiple times, even if you do get it. And then this one gives me, honestly, one of the most trouble out of any of the maps, because you just need a really good back flick to get this up there. You can also like double jump, pop, air dribble this up if you get the height. But I think what it wants you to do is get like a good back flip flick. And the way I think you're supposed to do that is you want your wheels to be kind of like up in front, like a good bit, and then you want to be slowing down relative to the ball. You want the ball to be rolling forward when you jump. So you want to get up here and then like slow down, and then you're gonna jump as it's rolling towards your hood, and you're gonna jump and hold the jump button, so that way you get a full jump, not just a tiny jump. You want a full jump, and as you do that, you're gonna want to be holding back if you can, and then get your flick. That's how I think I do this one. Yeah, like that. And it just didn't, it did go far enough. Nice. But that one always gives me trouble. This one is a pretty big gap here. You can do a little double jump pop, and honestly, if you're good enough to air dribble it, you can do that all the way there. I really wish I could go back here. I don't, my arrow keys don't work, so I might have to go back and show these again if I do get through this pretty quickly. We'll just move on. This level is going to be really just timing. Like you have these 3 wedges that swing back and forth, and you have a fairly narrow band here. Like it's not super wide if you're learning, so definitely take some time, but you just want to get the ball on your hood, and you can go slow it down by braking and popping it up, and then you can speed it up. Or if you get hit, it'll just knock it off your hood. You can also go really fast and just kick it to the right here, kind of full boost it. And then there's a way to like flick it all the way to the end if you're trying to speed run, but I like to go behind this guy and then behind this guy too. There we go. And then this one you can go right. I think the way I started learning this is I always kicked it to the left here, because then you can go slow. Just go right behind this line of pillars. And the last one is going to be the hardest because it's on like a different timer. It's like a little bit farther away. So it's easy to get kind of stuck like behind it, right? Like this one I think is just further away gap than this guy than like the previous gap is. And so sometimes you have to like wait here and let it go through, or cut it across and dribble it on the other side. But either way, that level's not too terribly bad. It's just trying to get the right pace to match up. This is another one like that last one where we had a backflip flick it. You have to like flick it over that, because it definitely does not fit underneath here, right? Not gonna fit there. I guess, if you're good enough to go on the side and air dribble around it and then get all the way back to the side and catch it, which I'm not really, I can hardly do that, and that takes me a while. Yeah, that's gonna be harder than just getting a good backflip flick anyways. And sometimes it's just gonna take a little while, but then the important thing to do here is to catch it right there. You want your wheels to be ahead of the ball more so than you think, and that's something that's, for me, that's my experience. I always kind of thought, you wanted your back wheels to be right on the edge, but look at where your hood is, right? So you're actually not as wide as the ball, like in the midsection. Like I'm not as wide on either side here. Maybe my butt's about as good, but the nose isn't, right? So, but anyways, so yeah, make sure your wheels are farther forward than you think. And then this, you can roll it up on here. And this is like one of the few walls that the ball can actually roll on, just this little ramp. Oh, I didn't mean to side flip there. That's because I was holding my trigger. Like I said in the beginning, that does happen. Oh my God, I've never gone too high on this level before. That's crazy. Never knew you could even do that. I just double jump pop, and then, you know, I'm not too worried about turning my car around there. Oh, didn't get the best touch. This ramp here can be really hard. You can go slow and then match the speed and then just try and aerial up to the ball. It can be really hard to get this touch, to hit it out just far enough to where you can catch it, but not so far that like that, like you wouldn't be able to get back underneath it. Barely wouldn't, even if it was lined up straight. So this one's gonna be a little bit harder to get your setup touch. That's not terrible. It's a little bit heavier than I'd want it normally, but you can still land underneath it. So let's see if we can't finish this one. And then this one also, I tend to like drop it off of my hood after I catch it because I'm just trying to speed it up to get to the end quicker, more so than I need to. That one was a pretty poor attempt, but that's all right. And that's like really high. I could even like full boost down and try to find the ball. Oh, there it is. And try to catch it that way. But I like to kind of fall with it because it seems like it's better. And I like to not side flip, but I keep doing that on accident, so. Oh my gosh, I accidentally landed perfectly on the ground. But yeah, see, like, look, I always let it roll too far off of me and then it resets, so. Gotta be careful, especially on this one, is kind of the bane of my existence there. All right, there, I got a good double jump there. I can pop it up, slow down a little bit. Oh, and it seems to come down faster than I think sometimes. That's all right. Let's just go ahead and finish this level. It should be pretty easy right here. That was a really good lineup. And then, like I said, just keep my wheels just right in front of the back line, and you can just get a little double jump pop here. This one can be definitely annoying because you have to land and then do another pop. Which this one I feel like took me a good while to get a hold of because I always went too fast right here. You want a nice easy catch. Once again, I side flipped on accident. Might have been my stick that time, I'm not really sure. There we go. And then if you lean back after you do the double jump, oh, okay, got it. If you lean back after you do a double jump, you can like flip it up and get like another kick up on the ball if you really want to pop it up there. And that's like without even boosting. It's kind of hard to do it on this one because I don't need to do it that way. Oh. Can I catch it? No, not quite. This one I like to go around it and then back over. So I kick it to the right initially and then do like a double jump and try and catch it on this left side of this one that's coming at me. And then just try and speed it up because it might hit you in the butt if you're not fast enough. And then this is a timing thing. It might be frustrating to wait and get the timing there because it'll knock the ball off and you won't complete the level and you're right there. I've done that like 10 times in a row before and it really frustrated me. This one's fairly simple. You have this little drop off here gap. It's a gap, but it also drops down some. So you just have to like single jump. You can catch this and then stay on the right side of it and turn it slowly. And we're just gonna do another one. This is a farther drop down, but it's not a big deal. And we're just gonna catch it. A lot of these movements, you want very, very small, precise movements. Like you don't want to go full tilt on the stick, just little taps. Same for your drive forward and your reverse. Reverse is very touchy. Sorry, it slows you down very quickly, reverse does. So I always wish that I could change that sensitivity, but that's not really a setting that they let you mess with. But I feel like I brake too hard so often. You have to get really used to just barely touching it if you are gonna do it. Like that time, I tried to do it just instantaneously and I still dropped it. Just trying to show the example of how touchy it can be. And then this is another one where it just takes, you know, a little bit of timing. It's like that the one with the pillars that go sideways. And then once again, the last one, this one you have to like wait a little bit longer. It's just a little bit different timed. It's not that difficult as long as you have, you know, if you got up to that point, you can get it no problem. This one can be annoying because you have to like kind of pop it up. And then you have to stay on these ramps. You have to stay like under it, and like keep kicking it up the hill. Like I'm kicking it back up there, right? And then now I can let it roll off me a little bit, and I can just hit the goal because I didn't have to catch it at the end. These humps, man, there's 2 humps here, and it can be really difficult to catch the ball on the other side. And it can even be really difficult just to get it on your hood. One thing you want to do is you don't want to full boost. Like you never want to just full boost here because you'll never get it. Like it's going to be too far. You have to go a little bit and then just a little kick a boost at the end. And then it can bounce up like that. That's okay. But it might be going too quick. Yeah, it's really touchy whenever you're trying to catch it on the back end. So I would suggest trying to go really slow. As slow as you can and still maintain control here. And then whenever you're coming down, you want it to be on the back of your car. So that way, whenever you get to the bottom, it's actually going to speed up since it's a little bit above you. Oh, no. I didn't quite get it. I tried to flick it all the way across. I didn't quite get there. But it's all right. And then you could try and air dribble it all the way, but I wouldn't suggest it. It's you know, this is learning how to ground dribble. But, you know, if you want to practice air dribbles, that's fine too. It's a-okay. You can go a little bit left and right, side to side here if you need it. You have plenty of room. And then this one should be pretty easy to kill off the rest. Once you get up that second hump, it's, you know, just more of the same. It's a lot easier. It's kind of like the end of the level in my head. This one takes a while to get used to as well. You can do an air dribble across and catch it there. I'm not good enough to do that. So you're just gonna want to slow it down, go to an angle, and then come over here and then turn it back towards the net, and then just, you know, keep a nice pace. You don't have a lot of room here, so it's really not a lot of room for errors. And then, you know, you just pop it in, that's fine. This one's a little bit longer. This one definitely takes a little bit longer to get used to because you have to go all the way through all those wedges and then all the way here to the right. Like, you have to dribble this ball for longer than you've had to dribble any ball so far. So along with the fact that you have these wedges you have to get through, like they will knock the ball off and you. So you gotta be careful. I like to not like rush it because then you're in this weird spot here where it's like not really doing anything for you. Just go to like a nice pace. This is pretty good here. Let it go up there and then just let it go down. Take your time, collect it. Let's see, let's go on the left side of this one. We got pretty close to it, but we were kind of planning that. Let's go on the right here so we don't have to wait again. There we go. And then this guy is gonna probably go to, yeah, we'll go to the left side. And then we got one more and then a curve. I kind of sped up a little bit more than I wanted to, but hey, it's fine. But that one can definitely take a while because you have to carry that ball for so long. So level 25 here, kind of getting to the last bit. There's 30 total. So this is kind of like that other one where there's a big curvy ramp that curves to the left, but this one's definitely harder because you have to go down in the middle and then go back up the other way. Yeah, you'll see. This one doesn't have a lot of room here, right? Not a lot of room for error. And then right here, as you go up, it can be difficult to get that sometimes. And you can see like what my car positioning on there was pretty good, but I still lost it because you have to be underneath the ball more. And on the ramp, like I'm too far above it on the left. It's just going to turn it more and more downfield, down the ramp. So you want to make sure you stay on the inside track a little bit more than you might think. Like up here, I have to slow it down. That's why I'm on the left. But now whenever it needs to speed up, you make sure that I'm going to control it and be on the right side there. Whoa, did y'all see that? My car just fell through the middle of the floor. I've never seen that happen before. That is crazy. Must be like a connection point between two meshes there. That's strange. All right, this one, it's just like getting this turn is the worst and then coming back up. But from like right about here, if you can get to here, it's a lot easier. Like you should be able to finish it out, no problem. Maybe not every time, but this one is kind of annoying, but once you get it down, you're gonna feel really good about yourself because you have to like double pop it up and then catch it and then do that like 4 times. And you have to turn each one, right? So sometimes I don't get enough speed on those and my car will fall in the crack even though I double jumped because I'm too slow. And then you can just catch it. And I didn't flick it. So, hey, you get to do it again. Nice. Sometimes you can get stuck in here too if you don't stay focused. If you let it tilt you a bit, you know? I need to catch it on the right side. So I kind of angled my car to the right and boosted. And then we'll catch this just in the middle and then we can turn it while we land. There we go. This one's a little bit timing based. You can go kind of slow here. Oh, I forgot to let go of my trigger and I started air rolling right when I jumped. You just want to double pop that and then stay on the left side of that pillar. Then here you really want to slow down after you get to that little checkpoint there because these red walls, they will knock the ball off, right? And this one spawns whenever this pillar gets to the right side right there, and you want to go now because it's kind of hard. Let me just try and get there. Let me try to speed run it, right? This one might not be good. Oh yeah, I can't catch it. Let's try again. Let's try and speed run it and get to where the red line, like try not to let the red line hit us or the red wall hit us. Going as fast as we can, and as fast as I can go, it still is always going to hit me. So I'm going pretty quick. I'm taking the inside track here, and then I might be able to make it, but it's just so hard going that quickly to keep possession of the ball because your car has a max speed, but the ball doesn't. That's important to remember because the ball can always go faster than your car. If I go too slow here, it'll hit me in the butt. I was hoping it would so I could show you, but you want to make sure you go quick enough to where that won't hit you in the butt. These ones respawn after they complete their mission. Oh, caught that a little poorly. And yeah, we're definitely getting in the levels where I could say like the last 10, maybe 8 to 10 levels. If you're new to dribbling, they might take you weeks. Like playing a couple hours a day practicing this, they might take you a couple weeks to actually ever beat once. And then once you beat it once, it's a lot easier to get back to where you were and then keep practicing. Oh, see, like right here, I just got there a little bit too quick. I like to keep it slow and easy. Slow and easy. This one might be too slow. Let's speed it up. Oh, yeah, that one was too slow. Even the pillar got us. As slow and easy as we can, afford. And then it helps to kind of go to the right side here and take like a wider track around because it takes a little bit longer to get your car back over here. Try to slow it down. That should be good now. There we go. And then speed it back up, but not too much because once again, you don't want it to get too far ahead of you, but you do need the speed to make it before it respawns and hits your butt. So once you get here, you should be able to turn it in every time, but I'd say like half the time I drop it, which is annoying. This one's interesting because it has the walls and then it has like these open spots on the left and right and they alternate where you can kind of stay grounded with the ball. You can also cut it over here and do like a little pop and catch, and then you actually save some time, so then you can go to the other side and do it. But I don't tend to try those. I mean, if I ever wanted to speed run this, that's definitely what you have to master because it's definitely a lot faster than going around them. But anytime I'm doing these maps, I'm just trying to practice my ground control and dribbles. So I feel like air dribbling those doesn't really do as much for me as doing this. And then normally I wait here for a whole cycle. I let this one pass in front of me because it's easier to get across, and then turn this upfield for the goal. Sometimes it can be pretty tight if you don't do that, but that's just the way I do that one. And maybe it's just because the first one I made it did that and I've always done it that way, but yeah, it's not too bad. This one is like the double hump we had earlier, except now there's poles and a little flat spots in the middles, on top and bottom. But once again, you just have to catch this really slowly. It's going to speed up on top of your car whenever you come down, and that's a lot of that's just physics, because it has like a lower radius of curvature. Like your wheels are on the floor, but it's the bottom of the ball is on your hood. So as you're curving up, it has less distance to travel, so it's actually going to speed up relative to your car. So you have to get back ahead of it and then catch it and slow it down again. And then it's kind of opposite for going on these. It's going to slow down whenever you're going over the crests. Same for like right here, the ball is going to slow down on me, so I have to make sure I'm not speeding up. And then, ooh, dodge that pillar. Oh, so I almost got to the end on that one. Not too bad. And let's just try and get back there. But yeah, so like on the crests here, the ball is going to slow down relative to the car. And then, you know, it's just normal when it's flat. And then here it's going to slow down again, and then it's going to speed up really fast, and you have to catch it and not get hit by pillars. That's the trick on this one. You could do some air dribbles here too if that's your forte, but if that's your forte, you don't really need to be watching this video. I think that's a little bit more advanced. But yeah, that's a good example right there of how much it can speed up relative to your car. That's why you really need to slow it down if you are going to stay grounded the whole time. There is a way that you can, I wouldn't say this is too air dribbly, but you could just do like a double jump pop and then just catch the ball and then keep going. Once again, I tend to try and stay grounded as long as I can, just because that's what I'm currently actively practicing. Oh, kind of messed that one up, but that's all right. These last two levels can definitely get you, but you know, you'll be so excited if you get this far that, you know, even if you can't finish it that same day, you're gonna be so excited to actually get this whole thing done. At least I was, if you haven't really ever done this. And yeah, so if your console, you absolutely do not need these levels or these custom maps at all to learn how to dribble. You can do it all on free play, but for me, this gives me a challenge. It gives me something to try for, right? It's like, okay, we have 3 more levels. So like the first time I tried these, I spent like 8 hours and I still didn't get past like level 3 because I was really bad when I first learned about custom maps. And then this is the last one. It's kind of annoying. You have to go over 2 of these little jumps, 2 of these little bars, little small walls here, and then catch it. And then you have to cut this in and go into inner radius right here, and then catch it, and then go over 2 more, and then cut it into the final section where you score it, and then that's it. That's it for this map. But yeah, like I was saying, these custom maps really do give me something to like reference how good I am. You know, I have a timer up there. I have how many like death counters or like fail counters. This is a awkward one. Couldn't quite get there. And I'm definitely still not, you know, the best at ground or any type of dribbling or anything, but I didn't get anywhere with it until I worked on these custom maps, because that's whenever I first started learning how to train. Like I would just play the game, never go into free play or anything, just hop into ranked and just lose a bunch whenever I first started. For years, even like thousands of hours, probably like 2,000 hours before I ever like intentionally tried to spend time training. So don't do that. Don't be like me. You're gonna regret it whenever you do want to finally learn, because then you have to get rid of all your super bad habits. Definitely, you know, if you like the game, if you're new to it still, say you only have a couple hundred hours or even like 50 hours, and you're watching this, definitely work on, you know, free play and learning some mechanics at an early time played, because it's going to help you out in the long run. You're not going to develop as many bad habits, and that's why people are getting so much better so much quicker these days, because there's just so much content out there and help. And look, here you go, and that's it. That's the final one. 27:29 while talking. That's not too bad, and that's with my Zen controls. This is like the first or maybe like the second time I've done this with my new Zen controls. Yeah, normally I can do this whole map in, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on if I really feel like finishing or if if I'm just kind of like watching YouTube while I'm warming up, just letting my fingers do everything. You can look up some pretty insane like speed runs on here where people like bounce it off all sorts of stuff and get pinches and just skip levels. There's some really cool ones. Yeah, this is kind of what the whole thing's gonna look like if you don't have your custom map pack, texture pack. It's all gonna be this like default squares look, the purple and gray squares over everything. But yeah, this is Dribble Challenge 2 Overhaul, and if you can do this, you're definitely good enough for GC. You know, you don't need to hold the ball on your car forever. And that's definitely something that sometimes I still struggle with, is that I try to keep it on my hood too much, because there's plenty of times when you're in game and you're dribbling it and it's on your hood, and the best thing to do is to just drop it in front of you and go for a 50. And I don't think about doing that often, because I've done these training packs so much that my goal is like, oh, keep it on my hood unless it's going in the net. Keep it on the hood. Don't ever drop it. But sometimes dropping it's just 100% the right move, and it's going to help you out a lot. So I would say, you know, if you can't do the dribble training custom packs, you can do, you know, just free play. And even if, you know, if you finish through that whole level, you feel comfortable with it, come in here, practice setting up your dribble, practice getting it on your hood, practice dropping it and picking it back up. And then eventually you want to get into the bounce dribbles, which is this stuff, which is definitely all about timing and power. And, you know, you can transition into anything with a bounce dribble. And I do have a short tutorial on bounce dribbles, so I'm not going to get too much into it, because bounce dribbles are just one of the most powerful mechanics anyone can know, especially in like a 1v1 scenario. It's just, they're incredibly hard to save if you're good at them. And it does not take that long to be good at them. In fact, you can learn this before you even learn how to dribble normally. But I would say that it's a little bit, it's going to go a little bit easier, because you're already going to have like the finesse card control that you need to dribble, which means you're going to have a much better card control to actually get these little touches you need to keep this bounce dribble going. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. I'm kind of tired of talking and I think I covered quite a bit. I know there's going to be things I missed there and all sorts of stuff, and I didn't go too in depth about how I read the ball in my car. It's just going to be, as much as I can say this, it's muscle memory, you know, but I can give you just those little hints, like, you know, keep your wheels in front of the circle, because really, you know, your hood's not in front of the ball like you think it might be, just from your angles, from your point of view. You know, don't stay with the ball on your hood the whole time. Learn how to drop the ball off your hood and then get back under it and then pick it back up. And then eventually, you know, you're going to get into flicks and walled air dribbles, ground air dribbles, all sorts of stuff that's going to be useful. And it really does all stem from your base card control, your ground card control, you know. That's really the basis for all of these things. And then catching them like that, it's really nice to do. It feels so good whenever you can, you know, the ball's coming down hard and you can just drive up underneath it and like catch it smoothly and go like right into a flick or anything you want to do. But yeah, I'm rambling now, so that's going to be it. I will catch y'all for the next one, and let me know in the comments if this was helpful or if there's anything else you'd like to see, kind of like a longer explanation video. It's not so much a tutorial, more of like a just here are my thoughts on how to do it. And if you want more of these or a specific type of mechanic doing something like this, just let me know in the comments, and I'm definitely looking for more content to make. So if I see that you're going to want something like this for some other type of mechanic, or you know, it could be air dribbles, walled air dribbles, ground air dribbles, anything like that, I'll just be practicing it, kind of talk through my thoughts, and yeah, we'll get there. We'll get them all made, and hope you like them. So yeah, I will see y'all next time. Peace.